This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Until we get some type of single-member representation, we will always be disenfranchised, and the power brokers will continue to run this community.
Are commissioners acting in your interest? When was the last time you feel truly represented by the person that you voted for? Tonight we'll show you why some people are saying at-large seats cause some communities to be ignored. With municipal elections only a month away, we'll help you get a better handle on how our elections got this way to begin with. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on local representation coming up. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. New details in the case against former Sarasota Sheriff's Deputy Frank Bybee, who is charged with the attempted murder of an elderly woman. The Sheriff's Office is providing a graphic interview with the woman who says she paid Frank Bybee thousands of dollars for sexual favors. The Sheriff's Office provided the recordings, which are unrelated to the charges against Bybee. The woman's identity is not being released, and there is no apparent evidence to back up her claims. She claims to have paid Bybee more than $5,000 for sex and doesn't believe he was capable of hurting anyone.
And I said, well, Frank, call a spade a spade. You're a gigolo. I never felt physically threatened by him. He never grabbed me. He never, he didn't. He just didn't. And that's why I find it hard to believe with what's happened. The money, I believe. Hurting someone, I find that hard to believe.
Bybee's attorney was not available for comment, but has questioned the case against his client, calling it political. Now to Northport, where an investigation continues after a school teacher shot her husband and then turned the gun on herself. Police say 46-year-old Holly Fisher, a teacher at Heron Creek Middle School, was found dead at home late Friday night. Her husband, Jason Case Fisher, survived with injuries to his hand and chest. He claims to ABC7 the whole incident was a terrible accident and his wife didn't mean to shoot him or herself.
It was an accident. She never touched a gun before that night. Her finger must have just hit it and it went off, and then hurting her husband, the center of her universe, was over.
Fisher was a social studies teacher at Heron Creek Middle School. Grief counselors were at the school today helping students and faculty. The winner of a beauty pageant from Charlotte County has been killed in a deadly crash over the weekend. The 4-car accident happened on University Parkway Friday night. 20-year-old Katrina Huffman died. Troopers say Huffman was heading east when she crossed over the median into oncoming traffic. Huffman was Miss Teen Charlotte County and most recently Miss Hollywood Showbiz reporter. Her friends say she was a fun person who loved acting and adventure. A follow-up now on the data breach that compromised the tax information of employees across the Manatee County School District. The district says all of its employees are covered under a policy with All Clear ID. Identity theft protection will be provided for the next 2 years. An email phishing scam is being blamed for the incident. 2 employees who unintentionally responded to the bogus email have been reprimanded.
At this point in time, decisions have been made. One individual has been removed from the position and won't have any kind of access to any kind of sensitive information through the district. And the other will receive a form of formal reprimand.
The FBI and IRS are investigating to find out who was behind the hack. Want to skip the security line at the airport? Sarasota Bradenton International is once again offering TSA pre-check enrollment. Passengers can sign up for the 5-year program until Friday. Those accepted don't need to remove their shoes, liquids, laptops, or belts before boarding flights. The cost to enroll is $85. To apply, you can submit an online application or schedule an in-person appointment at an enrollment center. All applicants must undergo background checks and fingerprinting. Sarasota City Manager Tom Barwin will not be rolling the dice in Reno. Barwin was among the top 4 applicants to take over as city manager in Reno. In fact, he was planning to travel to Nevada on President's Day weekend. But today, the city is announcing Barwin is withdrawing his name from consideration. Barwin says it is just bad timing and that Sarasota needs more nurturing before he can hand it off. To pitchers and catchers and coaches of the Baltimore Orioles, welcome back. It is that time of year. Baseball spring training is getting underway and the Baltimore Orioles are arriving. Today, the Orioles pitchers and catchers reported for camp at Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota. They were out on the backfields warming up a little. Players will have their first full day of workouts tomorrow. Orioles manager Buck Showalter says 3/4 of the team are already in town. And Bob, that just warms the heart.
I know you love baseball, Ellen. A lot of people do. They even move here because of that reason. And if the winter is anything like the spring, then it's going to be perfect weather for all the games. We haven't had many fronts. It hasn't been all that cold. And we've got one coming, though, that will change things around a little bit, actually bring us back to more basic temperatures for this time of year. Right now, there's a weak front that's moving right across the area. And this front is, for the most part, just a little bit of cloudiness around. There's not much to it. You can see that cloudiness right there moving right across Central Florida. A few showers along the east coast and down to our south. But more importantly, there's another storm system that will develop and bring some big changes our way, it looks like. By Wednesday, this area of low pressure will move and track off to the northeast and eventually cause us to see this storm system bring some heavy weather once again into Louisiana, so that may be down the road, at least on Tuesday. Currently, we have fair skies and 68 degrees. Dew point's pretty high. The number on the temperature and the dew point temperature getting close to one another, so fog is a real possibility once those winds lessen sometime late tonight. That fog will be around. You see how the clouds increasing by 11 o'clock. And temperature staying pretty warm, too. Water vapor content, there's not a lot of moisture out there, so that front that's moving through right now, not producing much rainfall. We can see a few sprinkles possible late tonight and tomorrow morning with that fog around. Temperatures have cooled down into the mid to upper 60s near the coast, still in the low to mid 70s inland. We'll talk about this front and then another storm system on Saturday that will bring us a chance for showers again. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, some say certain Suncoast neighborhoods are getting the short end of the stick from local governments. Would changing the way our leaders are elected fix the problem? The story when we return.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
Are you paying too much for your cable or satellite TV? The U.S. government passed a bill mandating free over-the-air digital transmission of all broadcast network television channels. That means with the new TV Freeway digital antenna, you can get free HD programming from your favorite broadcast networks 24/7 without a bill. You just plug it into the back of your TV and start watching all of your favorite broadcast programs for free. There are no contracts to sign, no hidden fees, and no monthly fees. Just free HD broadcast TV. Take it with you anywhere. Call or go online now to get your TV Freeway stick for the incredibly low price of only $14.99. But wait, call or click now and you can get a second TV Freeway stick for a second TV. Just pay a separate fee, but you have to order right now.
Call 1-800-809-5196 to get your TV Freeway. Call now or go to tvfreeway.com. So call 1-800-809-5196. This offer's not in any store. Call now.
Join us for Sarasota Opera's 2017 Winter Festival, opening February 11th. Featuring Puccini's most famous opera, Madame Butterfly, Rossini's delightful comedy, The Italian Girl in Algiers, Poulenc's heartbreaking Dialogues of the Carmelites, and the medieval thriller The Love of Three Kings by Italo Montemezzi. Tickets are on sale now. Call 941-328-1300 or visit sarasotaopera.org.
Contemporary Cabinetry and Closet Concepts. Our strength is in building a relationship with our clients. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years. When you organize your home, you simplify your life. Call today for a free in-home consultation or visit the web at contemporarycabinetry.srq.com.
You hear it all the time in places like the Newtown neighborhood in Sarasota. When it comes to the county commission and too often the city commission, residents believe they get the shaft when it comes to economic development and other projects and money. As ABC7's Dwayne Lindo reports, many believe it's because how we decide how to elect our leaders. Dwayne.
Well, that's right, Alan. You have one system designed to make sure minorities have representation and ensure certain sections of the city will receive attention. The other system concentrating on city or countywide issues as a whole.
It all started in 1979 with the local chapter of the NAACP filing a lawsuit to challenge what they called an unfair method by which Sarasota City Commissioners are elected.
Minority representation, the way that it was set up, was just not happening.
The NAACP ended up winning the suit. Well, sort of. The election of the 5 at-large commissioners was now history. Currently, there are 3 single-member districts and 2 at-large. President of the Sarasota County branch of the NAACP, Trevor Harvey, favors using single-member districts if used in the right manner.
Not only do you have a representative for your particular district, but you also have a representative that is a representative of the entire city of Sarasota.
As former mayor and one of the 4 involved in the original lawsuit, Fred Atkins describes single-member districts as the best way to bring politics to people in the community.
It's about individuals having opportunity to impact their community by electing their representative more closer to their home base. What at-large does is diffuse and disenfranchise the weaker groups of people in any community, no matter how they are defined.
Sarasota County Supervisor of Elections Ron Turner says it's because single-member districts is different from the at-large system.
Those particular individuals have to live in their districts, but only the voters in that district, 1, 2, or 3 in the city, are able to vote for that particular city commissioner there.
But Sarasota County Commission is structured a little differently. Although there's 5 single-member districts, anyone in the county can vote for a particular candidate, which may lead to communities not getting the representation they may need.
You know, one would say, you know, is it fair? You know, is it not fair?
As some were on both sides of the fence, whether the at-large system or single-member districts were best for the county, many Newtown residents are wondering if the county is on their side.
Until we get some type of single-member representation, we will always be disenfranchised, and the power brokers will continue to run this community.
One thing is for sure, says Turner, it's up to the electorate to decide who they want to represent them.
No election is small, every election is important, and certainly up to the voters to decide what the best system framework for electing their representatives works for them.
There will be 8 candidates competing for the city's 2 at-large seats at March 14th.
All right, Dwayne, thank you very much. We have an unrivaled panel of former commissioners and a political expert chomping at the bit to weigh in on this, so stay with us. We are taking it to the trapezoid.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
In the real estate business, trust is important. It's not just about money, it's a place where we live and create memories. Buying a home is such a big investment, you want to find the right one. You don't want to be sold a home, you want someone you can trust to help you find the right home. I am proud to work at an agency where these values matter. I would love to be your realtor. I am Chandra Boone, and I'm a proud realtor at SWC Properties.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need
the Debt Ninja. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, you could be facing wage garnishments, levies, liens, property seizure, cancellation of business license, closure of business. The Debt Ninja fights your IRS debt. That's why you need the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja has found the best companies in the country who are on your side to fight debt. Want to learn if you qualify for the IRS Financial Hardship Program? Stop the IRS from garnishing your wages. Even if your bank account has been seized, if you have undeclared taxes, if you have existing IRS debt, it's not too late to call, so grab your phone now. Call the Debt Ninja at 800-945-0083. That's 800-945-0083. Settle your IRS debt to get the power of the Debt Ninja. Dial this number now, 800-945-0083.
Florida's last private island is a waterfront lifestyle like no other. This is Harbor Isle, just 5 minutes from the sugar sand beaches of Anna Maria Island. This sun-splashed paradise invites you to enjoy natural adventures and all the recreation of a tropical resort. Island coach homes and waterfront condos are now available from the high 400s. Don't miss the Luxury by the Bay event, Saturday, January 21st from noon till 4 p.m. at Harbor Isle. Water ski show, luxury cars, wine tasting, model home tours, and more.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Single-member districts versus at-large seats. It's not just arcane jargon. At stake is whether your neighborhood or community gets its fair share in the county commission and on the city commission. Think about it for a moment. We want Congressman Vernon Buchanan to bring home the bacon in Washington to the Suncoast, just like we expect State Representative Joe Gruters and State Senator Greg Steube to do the same in Tallahassee. But on the county and city commission here in Sarasota, it's different. Commissioners on the county commission are voted in by the entire county, not a specific district. And in the city, 2 of the 5 commissioners are at large. And joining us for more on local representation is Frank Alcock, a political analyst for ABC7 News, Nora Patterson, a former Sarasota County Commissioner and City Commissioner, and Joe Barbetta, who also is formerly on the County Commissioner. Nora, you welcome to our broadcast, and you have the unique experience of being both on the city and the county commission. And I want to, pick your brain on this, because our idea about this broadcast started with a conversation that we had with Fred Atkins some time ago, where he said that his frustration dealing with the county commission is that there have been times that grant money has been used to work on issues maybe in downtown Sarasota, but when the time came to applying those funds for Newtown and investment there, the county commission, in his opinion, just wasn't interested. And that gets down to whether or not communities like Newtown have the political strength to get things that it needs on the county commission level. How would you respond to that?
Well, to begin with, part of the dialogue used to be that a minority, such as an African American, might have an awfully hard time to get elected, as well as somebody from the Newtown area. And I served for a number of years with Carolyn Mason, who made that fear just not correct. And having served in both systems, because with 3 of the elected officials in the city being districts, and the districts were pretty small, I really felt like there was an awful lot of parochialism, that the discussions quite often were not about what's good for the city as a whole. It was, gee, we never get anything, we're this district, and then you could point to the things that they had gotten, sometimes in excess of the other areas. And I just don't like that kind of parochial conversation.
I think Nora's correct on the fact that you end up with small issues controlling the commission that might be very minuscule versus what the overall city needs. But I got a kick out of the intro with Fred complaining. 2 out of the 5 city commissioners are African American right now. So 40% of the city commission. The county commissioner, Carolyn Mason, was on the commission for 2 terms, no problem at all, and she represented the district. And the county, and Nora will tell you, a 30-year CRA, Community Redevelopment Agency, agreement with the city, where the taxes, the portion of the taxes was invested back into the city. So if Fred had a complaint, it might be with the city.
But Fred is not the only person who has voiced this kind of concern. Isn't that true, Frank?
No, there's a bit of a groundswell, and there's a new, I think, petition coming up. I think, for me, one of the reasons, or the most important reasons that I support either single-member districts or a hybrid approach where you might have some at-large along with single members, is it reduces the barriers to entry. It increases competition in a very, very important way. Money becomes less determinative. and other strategies where canvassing and ground game become more viable at a scale that it just doesn't happen at the county. And while I think there are some legitimate concerns about an overly parochial county commission, I think that's offset by, I think, better representation and accountability in terms of the representatives actually representing an area. That's where who's going to vote for them, as opposed to having 4-to-1 outside of that area.
Go ahead, Nora.
The truth is, I spent 24 years in public office, and I don't remember a time where there wasn't a political conversation about changing the system. In fact, the system was changed once for one term. Jack O'Neill, Commissioner Jack O'Neill was the one and only county commissioner that was voted in by his district alone, and the public didn't like it and threw that system out the next opportunity.
Let me ask you this. If you live in South County, what motivation is there really for you to deal and spend the money needed in places like Newtown to redevelop that area and move things along?
Because this is not a high-paying job. This is something people take because they love the community. And Newtown is probably the poorest area in terms of income in the community. And I never served with a single person that wasn't, if you could show something that would really make a difference in Newtown, wouldn't stand behind it. But to really make a difference in Newtown, there's just no quick solution.
All right, we are just getting started with this conversation about at-large versus single-member districts representations. We'll continue it in a moment, right after we check on the weather, so stay with us.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-658-3433. 800-658-3433.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Come out to the best party of the season, the Goodwill Mardi Gras Gala on February 28th at Michael's on E. Tickets at experiencegoodwill.org.
Flooring Depot has been serving Sarasota and Manatee counties for over 20 years with the best products and installation. Flooring Depot offers carpet, tile, hardwood, and more. Before you buy, give us a try. Stop by our showroom or visit us on the web at bestvaluecarpet.com.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Our discussion of elected representation at the local level continues in a moment, but right now let's get a check on our forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harron. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. A beautiful day today. A few clouds around earlier. A little bit of fog at times this morning, but for the most part, a gorgeous sunset tonight over Sarasota Bay. Looking with the Van Wezel webcam, showing you fair skies. Now, there's a weak frontal boundary. It's moving through right now, right across central Florida. The bigger story is this system now developing over the southern plain states. It's going to bring us more clouds on Wednesday and a better chance for a little bit more widespread rain, but even that's not going to be too intense, as this front that moves through on Wednesday will just kind of cool us down to more seasonal averages on Thursday and Friday. Well, get a look at the radar picture and review showing a few spotty showers inland. If anything at all, a few sprinkles are possible tonight. They'll be scattered about late tonight and early morning on Tuesday. Temperature right now 68 degrees. It's warm out there at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. The dew point is at 64. Winds are out of the northwest at 9. The pressure 30.01, and that is holding steady for the most part. Not going too far away as far as the pressure goes. It will stay fairly nice. Tomorrow we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds. The high today was warm, 77, well above the average of 73. And this morning's low was 60. That's well above the 53-degree reading that we normally expect. No rainfall officially, and we're below average so far for the month and for the year. Temperatures across the area into the upper 60s, right near the coast, low 70s inland. The forecast for Tuesday looks like this. Some clouds around occasionally throughout the day, so we are going to see some cloudiness. There'll be some fog in the morning. That fog will take a while to burn off, and then we should partly sunny skies, and high temperatures will warm into the mid to upper 70s on Valentine's Day. You can see from the RPM forecast model the clouds around, and here comes the next front. Not much to it in terms of heavy rainfall, but we will see some more showers around than we're seeing with this particular front. And then on Saturday, a low pressure area develops along it in the Gulf and brings us clouds and showers, a little bit better chance for some widespread rainfall on Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Again, some rain snow mix all the way into Kansas this evening. And the big story out west is obviously the flooding concerns with more rain on the way. Not as much as it has been, but still any rain causing more concerns out there to the dam. As far as the forecast goes for us, we are anticipating boaters not too bad out there. Seas will be running less than 2 feet for the most part. Up and down the bay waters, seas running 2 feet or less. A light chop on the bays and inland waters. East winds turn to the west at 5 knots, and the water temperature pretty warm, 71 degrees. Typically, the water temperature during this time of year, right around 59, 60 degrees, so it's well above the average. And 74, we're expecting a high for the beaches tomorrow with a mixture of sun and clouds. UV index will be a 7. Low tide upcoming at 8:35 for Sarasota Bay. Another one at 9:06 tomorrow morning. Sunrise will be at 7:07. The forecast shapes up like this tonight. Some fog developing late tonight. A few sprinkles are possible. 60 for your low. That's above average. And then for tomorrow, Valentine's Day looks good. 77, and east winds turn to the southwest at 5. The extended forecast, well, there it is. A 50% chance for showers on Wednesday. Cooler for Thursday and Friday. And then clouds increasing on Saturday. Alan will be right back after this.
Although the financial crisis was some years back, it's still hurting many seniors today. But if you're a homeowner 62 or older, there's a mortgage program that just might make life a little easier. It's technically called a home equity conversion mortgage, but to keep it simple, let's call it a reverse mortgage loan. With the reverse mortgage, you can convert your home equity into cash.
We're not overwhelmed with paying the bills anymore.
And at the same time, eliminate your monthly mortgage payments.
We've got money in the bank.
You never give up ownership.
And smiles on our faces.
For your free information kit, call now. You'll have to pay your property taxes and insurance and keep up with maintenance, but you won't make mortgage payments. You'll receive money. For your free information kit, call now.
Call 1-800-634-1517 for more information. That's 1-800-634-1517.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-962-4112. That's 1-800-962-4112. Call now, 1-800-962-4112.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Democrat to get elected to the county commission because there's just no question that at least at the moment the Republican Party dominates. It used to be the exact opposite some years ago when we first came here.
Raise this question. That might be true, but the city of Sarasota itself often votes Democrat.
And the city of Sarasota is all 5 Democrats right now, and I don't hear the Republicans complaining.
There's more registered Democrats in the city than there are registered Republicans.
They have some single-member districts where I think the opportunities for Republicans to win city commission seats are there.
But my point is, even though the city of Sarasota is Democrat, it's not represented in the same way on the county commission.
That's true. Yeah. And there is no doubt that the county system favors any party that dominates in terms of voting numbers.
But I think it has an important implication. If you have the entire county, there may be one district, perhaps 2 districts, where just the prioritization and how they'd like to balance some really important issues. It's not just about money, but balance some important issues. Their prioritization might be different than the rest of the county. If you have single-member districts, you're going to have 1 or 2 of those people that represent sort of that calculus. They still are in the minority, but their concerns get heard and voiced in a way where if you have at-large districts, all 5 are simply going to represent the majority view.
I think you have more infighting on single-member districts. Clearly have more infighting. It ends up being a dysfunctional form of government.
Well, I'm not.
And I really do think so.
It's not like I'm going to say, well, maybe we should be like Congress, because if you want to talk about dysfunction, that's, we just look at our Congress.
Well, I think you can say similar things about the state.
Right, exactly. But my point is, there used to be, when we had earmarks in Washington, and a lot of people derided earmarks, but it did mean that the congressman from Sarasota who wanted that spending, that new federal courthouse or whatever, can make a deal with the Democrat from Montana. You help me, I help you. We bring home the bacon. And if everyone is at an at-large seat, doesn't that take away that kind of?
No, because the camaraderie is there. We all run county-wide. The county's broken into 5 districts, roughly equal population of geographical areas in the county. So you can't elect 5 commissioners from 1 district. So my district happened to be the downtown Sarasota, Lido Key, Longboat Key. Nora's was Siesta Key portion and out into the east on the mainland. But we all looked at every issue from a total what's best interest of the county, countywide. Nora aggressively represented Siesta Key very well. I aggressively represented downtown Sarasota very well. And if you look at Dr. McManus's survey of 21 years, and particularly the last 8-10 years when Nora and I served, Nora was a little longer, we had incredible ratings, 80 to 90% approval.
Right, and I know that you're not down with what Fred Atkins was saying in our setup piece about this, but Frank, it is something that you often hear in the Newtown community and elsewhere.
Yes, certainly in the Newtown community, there's a lot of angst, some suspicion with respect to priorities, decisions that are made at the countywide level. So I think, Fred does reflect Fred's viewpoints. I think the majority of views in the Newtown community, I think they would support moving to a single-member district system.
We took the homeless issue, we took the bull by the horns at the county and tried to help the city every way possible. We took the lead on it after they hired the consultant, and we got a stick in our eye. basically from Willie Shaw, Fred, and some of the others from Newtown. We were trying to help the situation. Now, look, it's 2 or 3 years later. Nora and I have been out of office for a couple of years. The problem is probably worse than it was before.
I don't want to make this this discussion specifically and only Newtown versus the entire county, but I take it that your opinion is that there's just so much the county can do in terms of investment into the Newtown area that there has to be another part of the equation.
Well, I think we've been more than fair. You know, we don't look at, same with Northport. You know, we always used to hear Northport's forgotten, Northport's forgotten.
Still do that, by the way.
They may still do that, but we fought hard.
That's nature.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what happens.
But you'll see it worse with single-member districts with horse trading back and forth. You vote for my project, I'll vote for your project, and the rest of the city gets ignored.
There are other counties, including Hillsborough County, where it is a mixture of the two. You have single-member districts and at-large seats, and you don't hear the same kind of complaints up there that you do around here.
I wouldn't know. I don't live up there, and those don't come directly to me, but I have never had somebody come and talk to me about single-member districts that held Hillsborough County up to me as a model.
I've never had anybody come to me and advocate for single-member districts,
Frank,
including Newtown, anybody from Newtown.
Right. Hey, what's interesting and what people may not understand is different counties around Florida do this in different ways.
Right.
If you could explain.
As it should be.
Yes, the system that we have in Sarasota is the predominant system, I think, in most counties around the state of Florida. But there are some counties that have hybrid models and single-member districts. I haven't done, you know, a detailed analysis in terms of levels of satisfaction across the board. I think, and I'm not saying that, you know, a single-party composition is going to totally ignore different regions or different constituents in the area, but I do think certain voices get marginalized when you have all 5 commissioners that have a pretty similar governance philosophy. And the one point that I feel the most strongly about is, again, if you go to single-member districts, I do think you will get better competition in terms of people running for government.
If you could respond to that specifically. I know you were shaking your head a little bit there, but basically what Frank is saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth, is that it seems that the county commissioners all come from a certain political or philosophy of government, and that's not always reflected of places like Newtown or Northport or whatever.
And I think that's absolutely untrue. You know, Joe and I got along. We served together for 8 years, and he had a different philosophy on many things than I did. Sometimes he convinced me, sometimes I convinced him. The other board members weighed in. I would say of the 5 commissioners, there were no 2 that you could say were little pictures of each other in terms of how their mind work or their experience.
I'm not saying they're the Borg and clones of one another, but it's all Republican, and it's Republicans that are going to have to win a county-wide seat in a county that's getting increasingly conservative.
But for the most part, they were moderate Republicans who were pretty willing to spend money on very needed projects. And the projects, while I was in office, which was quite a span of years, I would say that we probably spent more money in South County than in North County.
Okay, let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests, plus what some of our viewers are saying about President Trump's 3rd week in office.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7, your Suncoast News.
How where you live affects your personality. We'll have the details in Health Smart.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here. Because
why, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds. No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm going to show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch The Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back. Is it better to have elected officials chosen by at-large voters or selected by those in the specific district that they represent? Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. Frank, what do you want people to take away from this conversation?
What I'd like people to take away from the conversation, the way that we do our elections here in Sarasota County now, at large and partisan, it is an extremely tough hill to climb to serve, to run for county commission government and serve if you're viewed as a challenge to the power structure of the Republican Party in the county. Extremely difficult. If you shift to an at-large system, it becomes a little bit more viable to have a more diverse set of perspectives. Or if you go to nonpartisan elections at the county level, that would take care of a lot of my concerns as well.
Nora, that is something you brought up during the break. Would you be supportive of that, and how likely would you think that would be to happen?
You know, the party in power never wants that to happen, because they look at local government as the training ground for people that maybe they want to vote into other offices. But in theory, I would much rather have a nonpartisan commission, and there is something to what you're saying, than go to single-member districts and having everybody pitch for their neighborhood block.
And Joe, I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, I think with a nonpartisan, I don't have any problem with whether it's constitutional officers or commission. It doesn't matter. It's the best candidate wins, and the candidate has to just basically get out there and meet the public and tell the story of what they're going to do for the people. But a couple points. When you go to single-member district versus at-large, your pool of candidates gets smaller. The at-large, if you notice, there's eight or nine candidates running for the city at-large right now. If it was single-member district, you'd probably have 3 or 4. I think you have infighting with single-member districts because they each have their own little agenda. And plus, I think you deprive the public, because there'll be a time when you have single-member districts that the public is not going to be voting for certain people.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about Friday's topic, President Trump's third week in office. Last week, a federal appeals court ruled against the president's travel ban. Trump is vowing to fight the decision. We also saw the confirmations of the controversial pick of Jeff Sessions as Attorney General and Betsy DeVos as Education Secretary. We asked you what you thought about President Trump's time in office so far. Mary Beth Waltz writes, I think the same as the first 2 weeks. Horrendous. Jan Vestal writes, excited, love it. And Jenna McAdam writes, feels like 3 years. What do you think about local elected officials? Would you like to see our system of representation change? Let us know by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And FYI, want to watch past roundtable discussions? They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to our guests for being here tonight. Frank Alcock is the political analyst for ABC7 News. Nora Patterson is a former Sarasota City and County Commissioner, and Joe Barbetta is a former Sarasota County Commissioner. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather. Plus, under pressure, America's tallest dam is threatening to break and unleash a wall of water. Hundreds of thousands of people are being evacuated. We'll have the latest in our prime time headlines.
Man, he used to hang out with us.
Yeah, and then he just stopped.
I hope he's gonna be okay.
1 in 5 of us has a mental health condition, but emotional pain can be hard to spot and harder to talk about. Learn the 5 signs of emotional suffering. If you see 1 or more signs in someone you care about, reach out, connect, and offer to help.
Megan, come sit with us. About the literature too. And our answers for questions.
Visit changedirection.org.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you. Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call 1-800-738-1923.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on your weather from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, El. Right now we're looking at a nice night tonight. Beautiful sunset looking out over Sarasota Bay. Rather calm conditions out there with fair skies. Not a lot of color because there's a lot of clouds around, and that's associated with this high pressure ridge. But there is a weak frontal system which will continue to slide down the state, and this front is not a very strong one at all. What it will do is bring us an increase in clouds and maybe a sprinkle or two during the early morning hours, but we're not anticipating any measurable precipitation through the next 24 hours. But after that, we could see some on Wednesday. 68 degrees right now. Our current temperature, so it's still pretty warm, and winds are out of the northwest at 9, and the pressure 30.03 inches. And that is rising ever so slightly. The high today was well above average. It's all winter long. We've been much warmer than average and no freeze concerns at all this winter, which is pretty rare. Normally we get at least a couple of scares now and again, but we haven't had any this year. Well, there's still a few weeks, maybe a week or two, I should say, that we could see that, but it's unlikely now that we're moving through mid-part of February. No rainfall to report today for the month now, just a half inch. We're a little bit below average. Right now at 67, the Brady Country Club. Parish, you're at 69. And the Meadows at 70 degrees now. I should say the Meadows at 70 and 68 in Osprey. Siesta Key, 67 degrees. The same in Inglewood, just a couple degrees warmer in Northport and in Port Charlotte. Well, the RPM forecast model showing some fog around to start the day off tomorrow. We'll see some cloudiness now and again. It's not going to be a totally cloudy day, but we will see some. And then there's a chance for some sea fog late tonight or tomorrow night and on Wednesday morning. That's associated with this front. A lot of times we get this southwest wind out ahead of a front, and this one will come through on Wednesday. Will bring us some sea fog, I think, around on Wednesday morning. Well, this is the storm system which will bring that next front our way. And eventually, this front will bring us some showers on Wednesday. That will then in turn and develop a low pressure area, which will bring us another chance for rain on Saturday. Well, temperatures right now 25 in Toronto. It's 40 in Columbus, 44 in Denver, and so no real extreme cold weather across the U.S. at this point. Now, for boaters tomorrow, east winds, not very much out there, 5 knots. They turn to the west in the afternoon. Seas running 1 to 2 feet, and a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now 71 degrees, well above average for this time of year. Low tide upcoming, and sunrise will be at 7:07. Some fog late, 60 for your low. A few sprinkles, and then tomorrow, Valentine's Day. Looks nice, 77 degrees. A little bit of fog in the morning, partly sunny skies. The extended forecast, a chance for clouds and showers, mainly late Wednesday, and then Saturday, another round of showers. High temperatures will be a bit cooler on Thursday and Friday. Primetime headlines with Alan Cohn up next. Stick around.
Our goal is to do things better than anybody in the country. What makes Sarasota Memorial Hospital's program so special is that it's taking care of the patient in every aspect of cardiovascular disease. And in this community, the patients are very active. The idea is not just to get them over that operation, but to get them back to doing the things that they enjoy doing.
I am an originalist.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now, 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. Demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair, where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500, starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
Now for your primetime headlines, and we begin in California, where a massive wall of water threatens to burst from the tallest dam in the country. Tonight, nearly 200,000 people have been evacuated. Since last week, millions of gallons of water have been pouring from the Oroville Dam spillway. The volume has created a massive 300-foot wide hole. Officials are using an emergency spillway, which itself has a hole. Those in nearby towns have been ordered to leave their homes, and that is resulting in heavy traffic and fuel shortages.
All we have is diesel left.
And I've seen a lot, you know, but never been through anything like this.
Emergency crews plan to use helicopters to drop huge bags of rocks to fill the gouge in the spillway. They don't have much time. More rain is on the way. President Trump is kicking off a busy week hosting the Canadian Prime Minister at the White House today. The two leaders have been blunt on their differences about immigration and refugees. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest from Washington.
President Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, the North American leaders talking trade, jobs, and immigration.
We are going to have a great relationship with Canada, maybe as good or better, hopefully, than ever before.
Trump and Trudeau, starkly different policies on refugees. Sources tell ABC News the president plans to sign several new executive orders this week on immigration. But he'll continue to defend his first one, banning immigrants from 7 predominantly Muslim countries.
The last thing Canadians expect is for me to come down and lecture another country on how they choose to govern themselves.
The two also announced a new task force for the advancement of women in business. The president's daughter, Ivanka, right there at the table, next to the prime minister.
As we think about how we level the playing field for this generation and for the next. So thank you for being here.
On the national security front, the president's national security advisor, Michael Flynn, is still under fire for contradictory statements about conversations with Russia's foreign minister in December. Members of Congress questioning whether Flynn brought up Obama administration-imposed sanctions against Russia.
If the president still has confidence in General Flynn, that will be okay with me. But the one thing as national security advisor you got to remember is that people have to believe what you say.
Top congressional Democrats are calling for Flynn to be investigated and fired, but White House counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, says Flynn has the full confidence of the president. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
I just want to thank President Agent Orange for perpetuating all of the evil that you've been perpetuating throughout the United States.
This is precisely the time when artists go to work.
Resist! Resist!
People were speculating if this year's Grammy Awards would be politically charged. You betcha. Several performers speaking out on the red carpet and on stage. Nearly 26 million viewers tuned in, according to Nielsen. Singer Adele was the biggest winner of the night with 5 Grammys and 1 Mulligan, you might remember. Chicago-based Chance the Rapper also won 3 awards. Hollywood was in Sarasota today. Academy Award-winning actress Gina Davis is taking the state on the Suncoast as we speak. She is part of the Ringling College Library Association's Town Hall Lecture Series. Davis, known for her roles in Thelma and Louise and Beetlejuice, is advocating for her nonprofit Institute on Gender Media. She says there needs to be more roles for women in Washington.
I feel certain if we change what's on screen, it will also impact what happens behind the camera. And it will change society. We'll start getting used to seeing women in STEM, for example, and say, well, that's very common, like Hidden Figures. We'll see lots of movies like that that show women being brilliant.
You can learn more about gender inequality in entertainment by visiting cjane.org. There's not a lot of incentive to hire someone with a felony record, but now state legislators are trying to change that. A bill is being filed to give tax credits to businesses who hire someone convicted of a felony within the last 3 years. Large communities can claim up to 40% of wages for 5 employees. Minority-owned businesses can claim up to 50% of employee wages. The bill's sponsor says having a job can keep someone from reoffending.
We have to come up with creative and smart ways to ensure that people, good people, that may have made a mistake early on in their lives or a certain phase of their lives, get the opportunity to provide for their families and provide stability as they move forward.
So far, neither the House or the Senate bill have been given a committee hearing. In Boca Raton, deputies are investigating an anti-Semitic act of vandalism. Early Sunday morning, police were called to the scene where a swastika had been painted on the side of a vehicle. It happened in Village Del Mar, a largely Jewish neighborhood in Palm Beach. The anti-defamation lead is condemning the incident. That's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Good night.